My son, my daughter, stop everything right now. It's no coincidence that you're seeing this at this very moment. I orchestrated every second that brought you here. While you slept last night, I was working behind the scenes of your life. While you cried thinking no one saw, I was counting every tear. While you prayed in those silent early mornings, asking for a financial miracle, I was mobilizing heaven and earth to answer you. And today, on this day, at this exact hour, the moment has come for me to reveal something that will completely transform your financial reality. You have been asking for provision. You have been crying out for a way out. You looked at your bills, your debts, your needs, and felt that tightness in your chest that I saw up close. I was there when you opened your bank statement and saw the negative numbers. I was there when you received that bill and didn't know how you were going to pay it. I was there when you had to choose between one need and another because the money wasn't enough for both. I saw everything. I felt every anguish. I kept track of every sigh of despair you gave, thinking you were alone. But you were never alone. I have always been here, watching, waiting for the right moment to act, and that moment has arrived. Today is not an ordinary day in your life. Today marks the beginning of a supernatural turning point. What I am about to reveal is not a vague word of encouragement. It is not fleeting emotional comfort. It is a specific, detailed, precise revelation about how, when, and through whom your financial blessing will reach you. Did you ask for $1 million check? Did you cry out for a financial transformation that will stop this cycle of hardship and need once and for all? I heard every word, and more than just hearing, I have already acted. In the spiritual realm, your provision has already been released. It has already been signed with my name. It has already been sealed with my authority. It has already been dispatched from the heavenly throne toward your life. But there is something crucial you need to understand now. This blessing will not magically appear in your bank account overnight. I have chosen a specific method. I have chosen a specific person to be the channel through which this provision will flow to you. And here is what will completely surprise you. This person is not who you imagine. It's not that rich relative you've been waiting years to reach out and help you. It's not that friend who always promised to remember you when they got better. It's not that professional contact you've cultivated, thinking that one day an opportunity would come from there. The person I chose to bring your blessing will shock you, will surprise you, will make you question, and then make you worship when you understand the wisdom behind my choice. But before I reveal more details about this person, before I give you clues to recognize them when they cross your path, I need to be sure you are truly ready to receive what I am saying. I need to know if your faith is activated at this moment. I need a response from you, not a silent response in your heart, but a public declaration that moves the spiritual world in your favor. So right now, go to the comments and write just 2 words, I believe. This is your declaration of faith that activates everything I am releasing upon you. When you write these words publicly, something powerful happens in the unseen realm. Angels are assigned to work in your favor. Doors that were locked begin to creak open. The person I have chosen to be your channel begins to move toward you, even without understanding why. Do not underestimate the power of a public declaration of faith. Do it now, before continuing to listen, because what comes next will require your faith to be fully awakened and active. I know you're tired. I know exactly the weight you've been carrying. I saw you on those nights when sleep wouldn't come, because worrying about money occupied every corner of your mind. I saw you staring at the ceiling in the dark, mentally calculating, trying to figure out where you were going to get the money to pay what was due. I was there when you opened the refrigerator and saw it was almost empty, but you didn't have money to refill it. I was there when you received that invitation to go out with friends and had to make up an excuse because you couldn't spend the money. I saw every moment of silent humiliation you went through. I saw you avoiding answering the phone because you knew it was debt collectors. I saw you averting your gaze when you saw someone you owed money to. I saw you smiling on the outside in public while inside your heart bled with financial anguish. I saw you choosing between paying an important bill or buying medicine. I saw you postponing medical appointments because you couldn't afford them. I saw you wearing old clothes, worn-out shoes, a broken appliance because there simply wasn't money to replace it. I saw every sacrifice, every renunciation, every moment you swallowed your pride and shame. And I want you to know now, none of this went unnoticed by me. Every tear you shed is recorded. Every desperate prayer you made is registered. Every moment of financial pain you experienced has a greater purpose than you can see now. You needed to go through this valley so you would never again have a scarcity mindset when abundance arrives. You needed to experience lack to genuinely value the provision I am preparing. You needed to be financially broken to understand that your security is not in a bank account, but in me. Every closed door you knocked on was protecting you from something that wasn't meant for you. Every no you received was redirecting you to my yes. Every help that didn't come from where you expected was teaching you that your dependence needs to be on me, not on people. I was preparing you. I was molding you. I was teaching you to trust in me when everything around you screamed despair. And now you are ready. Now the time has come for me to reward every moment of faithfulness amidst scarcity. But there's something essential you need to understand about the blessing I'm sending. This financial provision isn't just for you to hoard. You're not a vault where the money will just sit. You're a channel, a river, not a lake. The blessing will flow through you to reach other people who are in exactly the same situation you're in right now. Someone is crying today for the same reasons that made you cry. Someone is losing hope, just like you almost did. Someone is thinking of giving up on everything because they can't take the financial pressure anymore. And I want to use you as my messenger to reach that person now. Go to your social media and share this message right now, because there's someone on your list who needs to hear this today. And I've chosen you to be the bearer of hope in that person's life. When you share, you're not just sending a video, you're being my outstretched arms to embrace a broken heart. You're being my voice to speak hope where there is only despair. You're being light in someone's darkness. And here is the secret of the kingdom that few understand. The more you sow hope in the lives of others, the more I multiply provision in your life. It's spiritual law. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously. So be obedient now. Share this word and watch how I will honor your obedience in ways you can't even imagine. And think deeply about this. What if the person I have chosen to be the channel of your blessing sees this message precisely through your sharing? What if I am using you sharing this video as part of the supernatural process to connect you to your financial miracle? In the spiritual world, there are no coincidences. Everything is divine synchronization. Everything is part of a greater plan that I am weaving perfectly. Trust the process. Be obedient in this small thing, and I will entrust you with immensely greater things. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm releasing over your life at this moment. It's not a vague word. It's not a generic promise that applies to everyone. It's specific. It's personal. It's for you who are listening to me now. In the coming days and weeks, listen carefully to what I'm saying. In the coming days and weeks, I'm not talking about distant months. I'm not talking about years. I'm not talking about someday in the indefinite future, but about days and weeks from now. A specific person will cross your path. This person holds the financial key you've been waiting for. It could be through a job offer that will completely change your situation. It could be through an unexpected gift, an amount you never dreamed of receiving. It could be through a business opportunity that will open doors that have been locked for years. It could be through a professional connection that will put you exactly where you need to be. It could be through an inheritance you didn't know you were going to receive. It could be through a financial agreement that will work out in your favor. I have endless ways to get money to you, but that person will appear. That's not a possibility, it's a certainty. It's not a maybe, it's definitely. It's not a who knows, it's absolutely certain. I've already chosen who it is. I've already prepared that person's heart. I'm already moving the circumstances so that the meeting happens at the perfect moment. Everything is being orchestrated behind the scenes of the spiritual world while you listen to me now. And here's what you need to understand. This person isn't going to show up with a sign saying, "I am the channel of your blessing." There won't be an obvious announcement. You'll need spiritual discernment to recognize when they appear. Therefore, in the coming days, you need to be alert. You need to be sensitive to my voice. You need to pay attention to the signs I will send you. Don't go on autopilot. Don't live distracted. Pay attention to every encounter, every conversation, every new person who enters your life. When that person appears, you will feel something different. An inexplicable peace will invade your heart, even without you understanding why. A strong impression will arise within you, saying, "This is the person." You may not have a logical explanation. It may not even make sense naturally, but your spirit will know, because I will speak directly to you through your spirit. Trust this impression. Don't ignore it. Don't question it. Don't let your rational mind stifle what your spirit is perceiving. This person could be someone you already know, but never imagined would be the channel. It could be someone from your past who will reappear unexpectedly. It could be someone you hurt and need to ask forgiveness from before the blessing flows. It could be someone completely new who will enter your life, seemingly casually in the coming days. It could even be someone who naturally wouldn't have the resources to bless you, but when I move, the impossible becomes possible. I can touch someone's heart and make that person want to help you without you having to ask. I can prosper someone overnight, specifically so that person has the resources you need. I can open doors that no man can close. I can create opportunities where none existed. I am God. I don't depend on favorable circumstances. I don't need ideal conditions. I create the circumstances. I establish the conditions. I make the impossible happen. Now, leave a like on this video as a declaration that you accept this promise, and subscribe to the channel by activating the bell icon, because I will continue to guide you and reveal more instructions in the coming days. This isn't the only message I have for you. There will be more revelations. There will be more specific guidance. There will be more instructions on how to act when the person appears. You can't miss any of the messages I'm going to share. You are now part of a community that will witness supernatural financial miracles happening in real time. Don't be left out of this chain of blessings. Let me tell you something now that will lighten a burden you've been carrying for a long time. This blessing I'm sending won't come from the person you've been expecting. You know exactly who I'm talking about. That person you've been looking to for years, hoping they'll reach out and help you. That wealthy relative you thought, if they wanted to, if they really cared, they could solve your financial situation. That friend who promised you, "When I get better, when my situation stabilizes, I'll remember you," but never improved. or improved and then forgot you. That professional connection you've carefully cultivated, hoping an opportunity would arise from it. I want you to release those expectations right now. Stop looking at those people. Stop waiting for them. Stop monitoring their lives, hoping that one day they will remember you. Because while you're fixated on those doors, I'm opening a completely different door that you weren't even seeing. While you're wasting emotional energy on those who won't help you, I'm preparing those who will surprise you. Do you know why I won't use those obvious people? Let me explain the divine wisdom behind it. When the miracle happens, I want you and everyone around you to know without a shadow of a doubt that it was supernatural. If the blessing came from the predictable person, you could rationalize it. You could think, oh, it was expected, it makes sense, that person was capable. But when it comes from where you least expect it, from someone you didn't anticipate, in a way that makes absolutely no sense in the natural world, you and everyone around you will have to acknowledge that it can only be God, and this will bring glory to my name. This will strengthen your faith in a way that no predictable blessing could. This will become a powerful testimony that will impact the lives of many people. When you tell how it happened, people will be amazed. They will say, how is this possible? They will want to know which God is this who works like this. And you will point to me. You will say, it is the God who sees, who hears, who acts in amazing ways. So stop looking at those closed doors with resentment. Stop questioning why that person didn't help you when they could. Stop feeling anger, hurt, and disappointment towards those who turned their backs on you in your time of need. I closed those doors on purpose. I held those hands on purpose. I blocked those paths on purpose, not because I am cruel, but because I am wise, because I see what you don't see, because I protect you from things you don't realize are dangerous. Those people you thought abandoned you, I didn't allow them to help you because their help would have too high an emotional price. It would have a weight of obligation that would suffocate you. It would have invisible strings of manipulation tied to the Cusan favor. It would have an emotional debt that would bind you for years. It would have unspoken conditions that would control you. And I don't want that for you. I don't want you to be a hostage to anyone. I don't want you to live under the control of those who helped you and never let you forget. What I will give you through the person I have chosen will be free. Free from manipulation, free from control, free from emotional debt, free from suffocating obligations. It will be pure, it will be clean. It will be my provision operating through a human channel, but without the contamination that human favors normally carry. You will receive, and you will not be trapped. You will receive, and you will not have to bow your head for the rest of your life. You will receive, and you will keep your dignity intact. So take a deep breath now. Let go of that resentment. Release that disappointment with those who didn't help you. Forgive that person who could have helped but didn't want to, because I'm about to show you that you never needed them. You always had me, and I am infinitely more than enough. The people who turned their backs on you will witness your miracle happen, and will have to acknowledge that there is a God who cares for you better than any human being ever could. Now let me give you some clues about the person I have chosen to be the channel of your blessing. Pay close attention, because this will help you recognize them when they appear before you. The first characteristic you need to know: this person has a generous heart. I didn't say rich, I said generous. These are completely different things. It could be someone who has little but gives from what little they have. It could be someone who never had much but always shared what they had. It could be someone with an open heart, sensitive to the needs of others, someone who is moved by genuine compassion. And here's something powerful. It could be someone I will suddenly help to prosper, specifically so that this person can bless you. I can make the money arrive in their hands on a Thursday, and on Friday they meet you. I can open a financial door in their life precisely because I need them as a channel to reach you. I look at the heart, not the bank account. I choose based on character, not wealth. And I chose someone whose heart resembles mine, a heart that is moved by the needs of others. Second fundamental characteristic, this person will be moved supernaturally. They won't help you out of social obligation. It won't be out of pity. It won't be because you manipulated the situation or forced something. It won't be because you begged or humiliated yourself. It will be because I will deeply touch this person's heart. I will leave such a strong impression on them that they won't be able to ignore it. They will wake up one day thinking about you for no apparent reason. They will be doing their normal activities, and suddenly your name will come to their mind. She will feel an inexplicable urge to seek you out, to make you an offer, to offer you something, to help you in some way. And she herself may not fully understand where this impulse comes from. She may even question why she is feeling this way. But the truth is that it is I operating through her. She is my instrument at this moment. She is my outstretched hand to you. And when I use instruments in my hands, extraordinary miracles happen. Third important characteristic, the moment of the encounter will be divinely synchronized. It will not be something forced by you. It will not be planned by your mind. It will not be the result of human strategies. It will be an encounter that naturally seems casual, but spiritually was meticulously orchestrated by me. You will be in the same place at the same time, and something will connect you too. It could be a conversation that arises naturally. It could be an introduction through someone you know in common. It could be a comment on social media that starts a conversation. It could be an unexpected direct message. It could even be a physical encounter in a queue, at an establishment, at an event, in a place neither of you usually frequents, but you were both there that day at that time. I work in infinite ways. I am immensely creative. My methods surprise because I am not limited to human patterns. Don't put God in a box, thinking it has to happen in a specific way. I can use any path, any method, any circumstance to make two people meet at the perfect moment. Fourth characteristic that will greatly bless you. When the favor comes through this person, it will be greater than you asked for, much greater. You asked for bread, I will give you bread and butter. You asked for your bills to be paid, I will pay your bills and even give you a surplus. You ask for an opportunity, I will open a whole sequence of opportunities. You asked for enough, I will give abundantly. I don't do things halfway. I am not stingy. I don't give sparingly. When I decide to bless, I abundantly pour out blessing upon blessing. Now go to the comments and type 7777, because that is the number of divine fullness that activates financial, emotional, relational, and spiritual provision simultaneously in your life. Prepare your heart not just to receive enough, but to receive more than enough. Prepare your mind not for a little help, but for a complete transformation. Prepare your faith not for crumbs, but for abundance. Because when I move in your favor, I make all things abound. You must be wondering now, Lord, if you know who this person is, why don't you just tell me their name? Why all this mystery? Why not make it easier and tell me directly who it is so I can go to them? Let me explain the wisdom behind this. If I revealed the name to you now, 3 things would happen, and none of them would be good for you. Pay attention, because this is important. First reason, if I told you the name now, you would run to that person and ruin the whole process. You would arrive anxious, desperate, with that energy of neediness that pushes people away instead of attracting them. You would force a conversation. You would try to rush something that needs to mature in its own time. You would put pressure where I am putting grace. And the person feeling this pressure, this urgency, this desperation would retreat. They would close their heart. They would create distance. And the blessing that was about to flow naturally would be blocked by your anxiety. The blessing needs to flow, not be forced. It needs to happen naturally within my timing, not be forced by your impatience. When I move that person's heart toward you, they will act with joy, with a genuine desire to help, without pressure, without burden. But if you arrive too soon, you transform something light into something heavy. You contaminate with human anxiety what should be guided by divine impulse. That's why I don't reveal it. Because I know you. I know you wouldn't be able to wait. You would want to control, accelerate, guarantee, and in the process, you would mess everything up. The second reason I don't reveal the name, this is a test of faith and trust. I need to know if you trust me even without knowing all the details. I need to know if you can rest in my word without needing to have everything mapped out. I need to know if your faith is genuine or if it's just an attempt to control circumstances. True faith walks without seeing every step of the way. Genuine faith says, I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know through whom, but I know that my God will fulfill what he promised. If I give you all the details, where does the trust lie? If I show you the whole map, where does the dependence on me lie? You need to learn to walk by faith, not by sight. You need to learn to trust in my wisdom, even when it doesn't make sense to your human logic. You need to learn that I know what I'm doing, even when you don't understand my methods. This mystery is not meant to torment you. It's meant to strengthen you. It's meant to build in you an unwavering faith that will serve you throughout your life. Third reason, if I told you who it is, you would try to manipulate the situation. You would start to approach strategically. You would start cultivating the friendship in a calculated way. You would start doing things to impress, to please, to win the favor of that person. And everything would become human manipulation instead of divine operation. I want what will happen to be purely my work, not the result of your machinations. I want you to know, when you receive it, that it wasn't your cleverness, it was my grace. It wasn't your strategy, it was my providence. It wasn't your persuasive efforts, it was my touch on the person's heart. So now share this video on your social media, because perhaps the person I have chosen to bless you with will see this message precisely through your sharing and be moved in your direction. Think about this. What if I am using your sharing as part of the connection process? What if this is one of the ways I will use to place you both in the same spiritual environment before the physical encounter? Trust me, trust my method, trust my mystery. Everything will make sense when it happens, and when it happens, you will look back and perfectly understand why I conducted things exactly this way. Now, I'm going to teach you exactly how to recognize this person when they cross your path, because I won't leave you in the dark. I'm going to give you clear signs, specific confirmations, so that you don't miss this opportunity due to a lack of discernment. Pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you, because this is crucial, so you don't let your blessing pass you by. The first sign you'll experience: when this person appears, you'll feel an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Even if it's someone you've never met before, there will be something about them that seems familiar. It will be as if you already know this person from somewhere, even though you know you don't. It's difficult to explain in human words, but you'll know when you feel it. It's an immediate opening, an instant connection, a feeling that this person is safe, trustworthy, and important. Don't ignore this feeling. This is me showing you that this person has a special role in your journey. Second sign, conversations with this person will have a different weight. They won't be superficial, empty conversations. When you talk, you'll realize that their words touch exactly on what you need to hear. They'll say things that seem to answer questions you haven't even asked aloud. They'll mention subjects that are directly related to your current needs, and you'll wonder how they knew that? How are they talking exactly about what I need? The answer is simple. I'm putting the words in their mouth. I'm guiding the conversation in a supernatural way. Third, very important sign. This person will appear at the moment of greatest need. It won't be when you are calm and well adjusted. It will be precisely when you are at your limit, when the bill is due, when the pressure is unbearable, when you are thinking, I can't take it anymore. It is at that exact moment that they will appear, because I always arrive at the right time. I never arrive too early or too late. I arrive at the perfect moment where my intervention becomes clear and undeniable. Fourth sign you need to observe. There will be a supernatural ease in interacting with this person. You won't need to force anything. You won't need to manipulate. You won't need to create elaborate strategies. Everything will flow naturally. Doors will open on their own. Conversations will happen effortlessly. Encounters will repeat themselves without you needing to plan. When it's my work, there's a fluidity, a naturalness, an absence of struggle. When you're trying to force something that isn't my plan, everything is difficult, everything gets stuck, everything requires immense effort. But when it's my plan unfolding, things simply happen. Fifth sign, and perhaps the most important, you will have an inner witness from the Spirit, a clear voice within you saying, this is the person. It won't be doubt, it won't be maybe. It will be a profound certainty that comes from your spirit, not your mind. Your mind may question. It may say, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem logical. It's not what I expected. But your spirit will know. And you need to learn to trust your spirit more than your logic. Your spirit is connected to me. Your logic is limited to human information. When your spirit speaks, I am speaking. Therefore, you need to be spiritually sensitive in the coming days. Don't be distracted. Don't live on autopilot. Wake up every day praying, Lord, give me discernment today. Show me who the person is. Open my spiritual eyes. Sharpen my perception. Don't let me lose because of lack of attention. And I will answer that prayer. I will open your eyes. I will sharpen your discernment. I will make you recognize when the moment arrives. Leave a like now if you understood these signs and are prepared to recognize the person, and subscribe to the channel because I'll be giving you more specific guidance on how to act when they appear. You are not alone in this process. I am guiding you step by step. Stay connected because there is more instruction coming. There are more revelations arriving. There is more wisdom being released to you. Now let me tell you about something that will happen to you even before that person appears. You will begin to experience a peace unlike anything you have ever felt. It's not an ordinary peace. It's not the human peace that comes when circumstances are favorable. It's not the tranquility that appears when you look at your bank account and everything is all right. This peace that I will pour upon you is supernatural. It's a peace that makes no sense in the face of your circumstances. Your bills will keep coming due, but you will feel peace. The demands will keep arriving, but you will feel peace. The natural situation will remain difficult, but inside your heart, there will be an inexplicable calm. People around you will ask how you can be so calm in the face of all this. And you yourself won't know how to explain it. You will only know that something has changed within you, that a deep certainty has settled in your heart, that you simply know that everything will be all right, even without concrete evidence of it. This is the difference between human peace and divine peace. Human peace depends on favorable circumstances. When everything is going well, you feel at peace. When something goes wrong, peace disappears. But divine peace transcends circumstances. It exists independently of what is happening around you. It comes from above. It comes from me. It comes from the certainty that there is a God watching over you, even when everything seems to be falling apart. How will you know it's God's peace and not just a denial of reality? Simple. This peace will come without you making any effort to feel it. You won't need to convince yourself. You won't need to repeat positive affirmations, trying to calm yourself down. It will simply invade you out of nowhere. You will wake up one day and realize that the weight that was on your chest has disappeared. That anxiety that accompanied you is no longer there. That tightness in your stomach when you remembered your debts has simply vanished, and you did nothing to make it happen. It was I who placed this peace within you. And do you know what this peace means? It's a clear sign that the blessing is near. I don't give this peace lightly. I give this peace to prepare you for what is coming. I give this peace to position your heart correctly before the manifestation. Because if you receive your blessing while still anxious, still desperate, still panicked, you will receive it poorly. You will grasp it so tightly that you will suffocate. You will manage with fear instead of wisdom. You will make wrong decisions, driven by accumulated despair. But when I first give you peace, when I first calm your heart, when I first take away that desperate urgency, then you are ready to receive. You will receive with gratitude instead of despair. You will manage with wisdom instead of fear. You will make correct decisions because your mind is clear, your heart is tranquil, your spirit is aligned with me. So don't fight this peace when it comes. Don't question it. Don't keep wondering how I can be at peace if nothing has changed yet. Accept it, receive it, rest in it, because this peace is my divine strategy to prepare you. This peace is my gift in advance before the financial miracle. This peace is my embrace, telling you everything is under control. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. And when you feel this profound peace without logical explanation, you can be absolutely certain the miracle is on its way. The person is being prepared. The circumstances are being aligned. The details are being adjusted. And soon, very soon, everything will manifest in the natural world. But first, rest in peace. Let it strengthen you. Let it fill you. Let it sustain you until you see with your own eyes what I have already done in the spiritual world, materializing in the physical world. Now, I'm going to reveal something to you that will leave you amazed in the coming days. You will begin to experience what I call divine synchronicities. In the kingdom of God, there are no coincidences. Everything that seems casual is actually carefully orchestrated by me. And when I am preparing something great in your life, I begin to scatter clues around you. I begin to place confirmations in your path. I begin to speak to you through multiple ways so that you have no doubt that something supernatural is happening. You will begin to notice strange things happening. For example, the name of a specific person will start appearing repeatedly in your life. You will hear someone mentioning that name in a conversation. You will see that name written somewhere. You will receive a message from someone with that name. And you will think, how curious, this name is appearing a lot lately. Don't dismiss this as coincidence. It could be me preparing you because this person whose name is repeating is the one I have chosen to bless you. Or it could be me confirming an impression you already had about someone. You may have dreams, vivid dreams about someone you've never seen or someone you know but haven't spoken to in a long time. And in the dream, this person is helping you, giving you something, making you an offer. Don't ignore these dreams. I have been speaking through dreams since biblical times. When your conscious mind is resting, I access your spirit more directly. And sometimes I show you in dreams what is about to happen in reality. You'll start noticing numbers repeating themselves. It might be a specific number you see on the clock all the time. It might be a monetary value that appears in different places. It might be a numerical sequence that repeatedly catches your attention. These numbers aren't random. They might be linked to the amount of your blessing. They might be linked to the day something will happen. They might simply be my way of saying, I'm here, I'm working, pay attention. You'll be somewhere, and you'll overhear a conversation between strangers. And these people will be talking about exactly the situation you're going through. They'll mention details that seem taken from your own life. And you'll be shocked, thinking, how is that possible? That's not possible. I'll tell you how it is possible. I orchestrated you being in that place at that moment, listening to that specific conversation, to give you confirmation, encouragement, a word of hope. You'll turn on the television or open social media and you'll find a message that talks about financial provision, about blessings coming through people, about unexpected miracles. And you'll think, wow, that's exactly what I need to hear today. It's not a coincidence. It's me speaking to you through that preacher, that content creator, that message that came at the exact right moment. Music will play, and the lyrics will speak directly to your heart. You will hear a song you've known for years, but suddenly that specific lyric will leap into your ears as if it were being sung exclusively for you at that moment, and you will feel a shiver. You will feel something stirring inside your chest. That is me, even using music to confirm my word over your life. Now pay attention. When these synchronicities begin to multiply, when you realize that this is happening with increasing frequency, know that the encounter with that person is very near. The more confirmations you receive, the closer you are to the moment of manifestation. I will increase the intensity of the signs as the time approaches. It is my way of preparing you, of warning you, of keeping you in maximum readiness. Leave a like now if you're paying attention to these signs and ready to recognize each synchronicity I send. So grab a notebook or use your phone's notes app and start writing these things down. Write it down when something strange happens. Write it down when you feel that something wasn't a coincidence. Write down your dreams. Write down the repeating numbers. Write down the synchronicities. Because when everything comes true, you'll look back and clearly see how I was guiding you all along through clues you almost ignored. Now, I need to talk about the greatest enemy of your blessing. It's not the devil. It's not the circumstances. It's not the people. The biggest obstacle between you and the financial miracle I have already released is the doubt within you. I have already signed your provision in the spiritual world. I have already chosen the person. I have already orchestrated the provision in meeting. I have already determined the amount. I have already set the time. Everything is ready. But the doubt in your heart acts like a dam that prevents the river from reaching you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That voice inside your head that whispers, is this really real? Will it work for me? I've heard so many similar things before and nothing happened. What if it's just another empty promise? What if I get excited again and get disappointed again? That voice isn't mine. That voice doesn't come from heaven. That voice comes from the accumulated fear of so many past disappointments. And I understand. I know why you doubt. You've been hurt. You waited before and it didn't happen. You believed before and were frustrated. But here's what you need to understand. Doubt acts as a spiritual deactivator. When you doubt, you close the doors I have opened. When you question whether it will happen, you block the flow of the miracle. When you feed the thought of, what if it doesn't happen, you create an energetic barrier between you and the blessing. It's not that I withdraw the blessing because of your doubt. The blessing remains available, but doubt prevents you from reaching what is already within your reach. Imagine a person dying of thirst in the desert. There's an oasis just a few meters away, but the person doesn't believe it's real. They think it's a mirage, so they don't walk towards the water, and they die of thirst meters from salvation. The water was there, the provision was available, but doubt prevented the person from reaching what could have saved them. That's what happens spiritually when you doubt. I place the solution near you, but doubt paralyzes you and prevents you from moving in the right direction. So now, at this very moment, you need to make a conscious and deliberate decision. You will choose to eliminate doubt. It's not a feeling you wait for to pass. It's a choice you make with your will. You decide, I will no longer give space to doubt. Every time the thought of doubt comes, I will immediately expel it. I will replace it with a declaration of faith. When doubt asks, what if it doesn't happen? You will declare aloud, when it does happen, I will testify to God's faithfulness. When doubt whispers, this is too good to be true, you will reply, nothing is too good when it comes to my God. When doubt tries to convince you, you've been through this before and it didn't work, you will say, but this time it's different because God has spoken and He does not lie. Faith doesn't mean you never have questions. Faith doesn't mean your mind never questions. Faith means that despite the questions, despite the doubts, despite logic saying it doesn't make sense, you deliberately choose to believe in God's word above all else. You decide to trust Him more than you trust your past experiences. You resolve to believe what He promised more than you believe what your circumstances show. Now share this video, publicly declaring that you choose faith over doubt, because public declarations of faith break down spiritual strongholds and accelerate the manifestation of miracles. Every time doubt knocks on the door of your mind in the coming days, and it will knock, make no mistake, you need to be vigilant. You need to be ready to reject that thought immediately. Don't let it in. Don't let it take up residence. Don't let it contaminate your faith. Cast it out immediately. Replace it with a biblical truth. Replace it with a prophetic declaration. Replace it with a testimony of what I have already done in your life. The blessing has already been released. The person has already been chosen. The meeting has already been marked on the divine calendar. The only thing that can delay or block it is doubt dwelling in your heart. So remove it now, expel it completely, and remain vigilant so that it does not return. Now I need to touch on a wound you've been avoiding. I need to talk about something that's blocking your financial provision in a way you can't even imagine. There's a direct connection between forgiveness and financial blessing. When you harbor resentment, bitterness, and hurt feelings toward someone, you're blocking the channels through which my provision needs to flow to you. Think of a clogged pipe. The water is there at the source, ready to gush forth, but the blockage prevents it from reaching its destination. Unforgiveness works exactly the same way in the spiritual world. And I know exactly who you need to forgive. That person who has owed you money for years and never paid. That person who betrayed you financially, who deceived you, who took advantage of your trust and left you in a worse situation. That person who promised to help you, who said you can count on me, but when you really needed them, they disappeared, blocked you, made up excuses. That family member who has the means to help you but turned their back on you in your time of greatest difficulty. Those friends who surrounded you when you had money but disappeared when you lost everything. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The names are coming to your mind right now as you listen to me. And along with the names comes the pain, comes the anger, comes the feeling of injustice, comes the urge to say, "But Lord, what this person did to me was wrong. It was cruel. It was disloyal." And I'm not denying that. I saw it all. I was there when it happened. I witnessed every betrayal, every broken promise, every door slammed in your face. I saw your pain. I saw your humiliation. I saw the injustice. But now, I need you to understand something crucial. As long as you hold on to this resentment, you are tied to the past. You are stuck in that moment of pain. And as long as you are stuck there, the new blessing cannot enter. Because new blessing doesn't fit in a heart full of old emotional garbage. Fresh provision doesn't flow through channels clogged with old resentment. You need to cleanse. You need to release. You need to let these people go from the emotional prison where you lock them inside yourself. Listen carefully. Forgiveness is not a feeling. Forgiveness is a decision. You don't need to feel like forgiving. You don't need to wait until the pain passes. You don't need to feel that the person deserves forgiveness. Forgiveness is an act of obedience to me. It's a deliberate choice you make, even when everything inside you screams, "I don't forgive. They don't deserve it. I won't let go." But you forgive because I am asking you to. You forgive because I forgave you first for much worse things. You forgive because your future is more important than your past. And here's something many people don't understand. Forgiveness doesn't release the other person, it releases you. When you forgive, you're not saying what you did was right. You're saying, "I'm not going to carry this weight anymore. I'm not going to let what you did control my life anymore. I'm not going to give you the power to block my blessing anymore. I release you and release myself at the same time." Now subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, because after you forgive, I will guide you through the next practical steps to manage the blessing that is coming. So right now, not later, not tomorrow, not whenever you feel like it, but right now, at this very moment, make a mental list of all the people you need to forgive. And out loud, even if you're whispering, declare over each one, "Name, I forgive you. I release you from the emotional debt you have with me. I place this situation in God's hands. I choose to be free." If there are many people, say collectively, "All those who have hurt me financially, all those who have betrayed me, all those who have abandoned me, I forgive you now in the name of Jesus." The moment you do this, something breaks in the spiritual world. Chains fall, gates open, rivers that were blocked begin to flow again. And that provision that was withheld because of unforgiveness is immediately released. I was waiting for you to do this. I was waiting for you to release these people, because I cannot pour new blessing into a vessel full of old resentment. Now that you have cleansed, now that you have emptied, I can fill you with what I have prepared. Now I'm going to teach you the most powerful spiritual principle that exists for releasing financial provision: radical obedience. It's not enough to hear my voice. It's not enough to agree with what I say. It's not enough to find it beautiful, inspiring, encouraging. You need to obey. Because in the kingdom of God, active obedience releases supernatural blessing. Disobedience, even partial, even with valid excuses, blocks what I have already prepared for you. Look at the biblical stories. The widow of Zarephath was starving along with her son. She had enough flour for one last meal, and I sent the prophet to ask for exactly that last meal. Did it make sense? No. Was it logical? Absolutely not. Should she feed her son first? Any mother would say yes, but she obeyed. She gave him the last food she had. And from that illogical obedience, the flour never ran out. The oil kept flowing. She and her son survived years of famine because she obeyed when it didn't make sense. Pedro fished all night and caught nothing. He was tired, frustrated, washing his nets to leave, and I told him to cast the nets again. Pedro was a professional fisherman. He knew that at that moment, in that way, it wouldn't work. But he said, "By your word, I will obey." And he caught so many fish that the nets began to tear, the boats began to sink because they were so full. Obedience activated the miracle that professional technique could not produce. Now, in the coming days, I can give you specific instructions that will make absolutely no sense to your natural mind. I can ask you to make an offer when you barely have enough for your own needs. I can ask you to help someone financially when you yourself are desperately in need of help. I can send you to a specific place without explaining why. I can put it in your heart to call someone without you understanding the reason. I can instruct you to do something that your logic will scream is madness. Don't do it. And at this moment you will have to decide, do you trust me or do you trust your logic? Do you obey my voice or do you obey your reasoning? Because obedience to God often doesn't make sense in human logic. If it did, it wouldn't be faith. It would just be an intelligent decision. But faith is when you obey even without understanding, even without seeing how it will work out, even with all the evidence saying that you are being reckless. Here's what you need to understand. I test obedience before opening the floodgates. I give a small, seemingly unimportant instruction just to see if you obey. If you obey the small instruction, I know you are ready to receive the great blessing. But if you question, if you procrastinate, if you modify my instruction to fit your logic, I know you are not ready yet. Because if you can't obey something small, how will you manage the enormous blessing I want to give you? Leave a like now if you're committed to obeying any instructions I give in the coming days, even if you don't fully understand them. Blessing always comes after obedience, never before. I'm not going to give you all the explanations up front. I'm not going to show you the whole plan beforehand. I'm going to give you an instruction, and you're going to have to obey without seeing the guaranteed result, without being sure how it will end, without knowing exactly why I'm asking that. You obey because you trust in me. You obey because you know that I love you. You obey because you believe that I know what I'm doing, even when you don't understand. And the moment you obey, even trembling, even afraid, even with doubt screaming in your head, something is activated in the spiritual world. Gates that were closed open, provision that was withheld is released, miracles that were on hold are triggered, because obedience is the key that unlocks the blessings of heaven. So make a commitment to me now. Say aloud, Lord, I commit to obeying any instruction you give me in the coming days, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it seems illogical, even if the people around me say I'm being irrational. I will obey because I trust you more than I trust my own conclusions. Now I need to reveal something to you that is happening right now that you cannot see with your natural eyes. There is a furious spiritual battle raging behind the scenes of your life. Spiritual forces are desperately trying to prevent the blessing I have released from reaching you. This is not paranoia. This is not imagination. This is not spiritual conspiracy theory. This is biblical reality. The Bible makes it clear that there are spiritual principalities and powers that operate against the children of God, especially when they are about to receive something that will completely change the course of their lives. The enemy knows what I have prepared for you. He saw the person being prepared. He saw the meeting being orchestrated. He knows that when this blessing arrives, you will leave the place of scarcity. You will enter into abundance. You will begin to be a channel of blessing for others. You will have the resources to do the work I called you to do. And he is terrified of this, so he intensifies the attacks precisely now, precisely in this final phase before the manifestation. And you're feeling these attacks even without knowing they're attacks. Problems that didn't exist start appearing out of nowhere. Bills you didn't even know existed suddenly arrive. Your car breaks down. Your cell phone stops working. Your computer malfunctions. Someone who owed you money unexpectedly stiffs you. Expenses you hadn't planned for arise. And you think, why now? Why? All at once. Let me explain. Because you're about to break through. Because the blessing is just around the corner. Because the enemy is making one last desperate attempt to bring you down before you cross the finish line. Conflicts also intensify. Fights with family increase. Arguments with your spouse become more frequent. Friends disappoint you. People criticize you. Gossip about you spreads. And you feel alone, attacked from all sides, without knowing why everyone seems to be against you all of a sudden. It's because there's a spiritual turmoil around you. The enemy is using people, often without them knowing they are being used, to create chaos, confusion, and discouragement in your life. You feel a weariness that isn't just physical. It's a weariness of the soul, an inexplicable weight, a desire to give up on everything. Thoughts of hopelessness that aren't yours begin to invade your mind. Perhaps thoughts that it's not worth continuing, perhaps even thoughts of ending it all, and you need to recognize that these thoughts don't come from you. They don't come from me. They come from the enemy trying to take you out of the game before you receive the prize. But here's what you urgently need to understand. This intense pressure doesn't mean God has abandoned you. It means exactly the opposite. It means you are dangerously close to victory. Think of a runner in a marathon. When he's in the last few meters before the finish line, his body screams to stop. His muscles burn, his lungs ache. Everything inside him begs to give up. But it's precisely there, in that moment of maximum pain, that he is closest to victory. If he stops there, he loses everything. But if he continues just a few more steps, he wins. That's exactly what's happening to you right now. The pressure has increased because you're close. The resistance has grown stronger because the breakthrough is near. The attacks have multiplied because the miracle is on its way. The enemy wouldn't waste energy attacking someone who poses no threat. He attacks you because he knows that when you receive this blessing, you will be dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Go to the comments now and declare in capital letters, "My blessing cannot be blocked," because this public declaration breaks down all spiritual resistance against its provision. So don't back down now. Don't give up at this very moment. Don't interpret the pressure as a sign that you're on the wrong path. Interpret it as confirmation that you're on the right path and very close to your destination. This is the enemy's last attack before your complete victory. If you resist just a little longer, if you remain steadfast for just a few more days, you will see with your own eyes the manifestation of what I promised. Now that you know there is a battle, I need to equip you to fight. You are not unarmed. I have given you powerful spiritual weapons. I will teach you how to use each one of them. First weapon, strategic prayer. It's not pleading. It's a declaration. You don't beg, you command. Lord, you said that the blessing is coming. I decree that all resistance is broken now. That is prayer with power. Second weapon, the word of God spoken aloud. The enemy trembles when you quote my word. Declare verses about provision. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. My God will supply all my needs. You are armed with the sword of the Spirit that cuts through all resistance. Third weapon, praise in the midst of battle. Not emotional praise, but strategic war praise. You praise when everything is falling apart, when the bill comes due and you have nothing. Praise in adversity confuses the enemy and destabilizes the forces of darkness. Fourth weapon, intentional fasting. There are resistances that can only be overcome with prayer and fasting. It doesn't have to be 40 days. One day, half a day, a meal with a specific spiritual intention activates devastating power against the kingdom of darkness. Fifth weapon, prophetic declarations with authority. You are not a passive victim, you are a child of God with delegated authority. Declare it as if it has already happened. My provision has already been released. The person has already been sent. The blessing is already on its way. Leave a like now as confirmation that you've grabbed your spiritual weapons and are ready to win this battle. In the coming days, use these 5 weapons daily. Wake up and arm yourself spiritually. Pray, declaring victory. Speak my word aloud. Praise, even when you don't feel like it. Fast strategically. Declare prophetically multiple times a day. The weapons I have given you are powerful in God for the destruction of strongholds. Use them and watch the enemy retreat. Now I need to give you a revelation that will completely change the way you face this battle. Victory does not depend on your effort. Victory does not depend on your strength. Victory does not depend on you fighting perfectly, because the battle has already been won in the spiritual world. The outcome has already been determined. The decree has already been signed. The sentence has already been pronounced in your favor. You are not fighting to achieve victory. You are fighting from a position of victory already guaranteed. Let me explain this to you in a way you can understand clearly. When Jesus died on the cross and rose again, he not only paid for your sins, he also defeated every principality, every power, every spiritual force of darkness. He publicly disarmed them. He triumphed over them. He broke all the power they had over the children of God. So when you are fighting against spiritual resistance now, you are not fighting against a powerful enemy. You are fighting against an already defeated enemy who is just making noise, trying to convince you that he still has power. Imagine a soldier in a war where the enemy general has already signed the surrender. The war is officially over. Victory has already been declared. But there are still some isolated enemy soldiers who refuse to accept defeat and continue shooting, making noise, creating chaos. Are these soldiers dangerous? Can they cause harm if you don't protect yourself? Yes, but have they already lost the war? Absolutely. The final outcome has already been decided. It's only a matter of time before the official victory is manifested in every territory. That is exactly what is happening in your life right now. The financial blessing that I have prepared for you has already been signed in heaven. It has already been sealed. It has already been approved. It has already been released. The person has already been chosen. The meeting has already been scheduled on the divine calendar. The amount has already been determined. Everything has already been decided. The enemy cannot reverse this. He has no authority to cancel what I have decreed. He has no power to prevent what I have already signed. But he might try to make you give up before you even receive the win. He might try to create so much chaos, so much pressure, so much difficulty that you throw in the towel and leave the ring before the final bell. He doesn't win the fight. He wins through exhaustion. He doesn't defeat you with superior strength. He defeats you by making you believe it's not worth continuing. But now that you know victory is already guaranteed, now that you understand the final outcome has already been determined in your favor, You no longer need to fight with anxiety, with despair, with fear of losing. You fight with the confidence of one who already knows how the story ends. You endure knowing that each passing day brings you closer to the manifestation. You remain steadfast not through your own strength, but resting in the certainty that I have already won for you. Your part is not to win the battle. Your part is simply not to give up until the victory already won manifests in the natural world. So stop struggling with all that tension. Stop carrying the weight as if everything depended on you doing everything perfectly. Stop thinking that if you falter for a second, everything will crumble. It won't, because victory isn't based on your perfection. It's based on what Jesus has already done. It's founded on the decree I have already established. It's guaranteed by my faithfulness, not by your ability. You can rest, you can breathe, you can have peace even while the battle is still raging, because you know the end of the story. You have already read the last chapter, and in that chapter you are standing, witnessing the miracle, holding the blessing, glorifying my name for the faithfulness I have demonstrated once again in your life. The manifestation is a matter of time, not of if. It's not, maybe it will happen. It's, it will happen. It's not, I hope it works out. It's already worked out spiritually. It just needs to materialize physically. So lift your head, straighten your shoulders, dry those tears, and walk with the confidence of someone who already knows they've won, even if the battle is still ongoing, because victory is already guaranteed. Now I need to completely change the way you think about the blessing that is coming, because if you don't understand this, you will receive it incorrectly, and you will block the continuous flow that I have prepared for your life. So pay close attention. You are not a final receptacle. You are a channel of flow. The blessing doesn't come to stop at you. The blessing comes through you to reach others. And this difference in mindset determines whether you will live in constant abundance or whether you will only have a moment of financial relief. Let me explain the difference. A deposit receives and holds. It accumulates, it locks, it holds tightly. It's afraid of losing, so it doesn't release anything. It receives 1,000 and keeps the 1,000. A channel receives and distributes. It maintains a constant flow. It doesn't lock. It doesn't hold back out of fear. It receives 1,000, passes 500 on, and receives 2,000 back. Do you see the difference? The deposit stops the flow. The channel multiplies the flow. And here's what you need to understand about how I operate. I don't bless storage facilities. I bless channels. Why? Because when I put resources in a storage facility, they remain stagnant. They are locked up. They are useless to the kingdom. But when I put resources in a channel, they continue to circulate. They continue to bless. They continue to bear fruit. A storage facility serves only itself. A channel serves many. There is a spiritual law that governs the realm of finance. What circulates, multiplies. What you hold on to in fear, you lose. What you release in faith, you multiply. Is it counterintuitive? Absolutely. Does it go against all human logic? Completely. But that's how my kingdom works. When you give, you don't end up with less. You make room to receive more. When you hoard with greed, you don't become more secure. You block the flow that would bring even more. So when that financial blessing arrives through the person I sent it to, you need to have already decided that you won't hoard everything for fear of losing it. Yes, you will pay your bills. Yes, you will get organized. Yes, you will be wise. But you will also share. You will sow seeds. You will help someone who is in the same situation you were in. You will be to others what that person was to you, because the blessing didn't come to you. The blessing came through you. You are not the final destination. You are an intermediate station. The resource passes through you, blesses you, but it has to keep flowing. If you block that flow, if you become a selfish repository, I will have to look for another channel. Because I need people who understand that they are stewards, not owners, that they are channels, not safes. Share this video now as a prophetic act of declaring yourself a channel and not a receptacle, because when you spread this message, you activate the abundance mindset that attracts unlimited provision. Think of Abraham. I blessed him not only so that he would be blessed, but so that through him all nations would be blessed. He was a channel, not a receptacle. Think of Job, when he prayed for his friends, when he stopped focusing only on himself, I restored double what he had lost. He became a channel and restoration came. Now I am inviting you to enter into this channel mindset, and this requires a profound change. It requires you to kill the fear of running out. It requires you to trust that the more you give, the more you receive. It requires you to believe that my source is limitless, that there is no scarcity in heaven, that I never run out of resources. That if you continue to be a channel, I will continue to make the river flow through you. When that person blesses you, you will remember this word, and you will make a conscious decision. I will not be a receptacle, I will be a channel. I will let this river continue flowing. I will bless others as I have been blessed. And when you make that decision, when you act based on that mindset, you enter a supernatural cycle of constant abundance that never stops. Because a channel always has water flowing, a receptacle eventually dries up. So decide now, are you going to be a deposit or a channel? Now I want to tell you something very personal, something that will touch your heart deeply. I want you to know why I specifically chose you to receive this financial blessing, because it wasn't an accident. It wasn't luck. It wasn't you being in the right place at the right time. It was my intentional choice. I deliberately chose you from among millions of people, and now I'm going to tell you exactly why. I saw something in you that others didn't. While people looked at your empty bank account and judged you a failure, I looked into your heart and saw richness of character. While people saw someone financially broken, I saw someone being prepared to manage abundance. I saw compassion in you, even when you had nothing. I saw you thinking of helping others, even in your own scarcity. I saw you sharing the little you had when you could have kept it all for yourself. I watched you when you gave that offering that no one saw. Those 5 reais that were all you had in your wallet, but you felt my touch and obeyed. I saw when you helped that person even though you were in debt. I saw when you bought food for someone even knowing you weren't sure where your own food would come from the next day. I saw your secret generosity. I saw your hidden faithfulness. I saw you honoring my house with tithes, even when doing so meant real sacrifice. And you know what I thought? This one I can trust. This one has the right heart. This one won't become corrupted when he has money. This one won't forget me when his account is full. This one won't despise the poor when he himself escapes poverty. This one will be a channel, not a receptacle. This one will remain generous in abundance, just as he was in scarcity. This one passed the test. Because you see, many people want wealth. Many people ask for provision. Many people declare abundance. But few have the necessary character to manage well what I want to give. Character doesn't develop in abundance. Character develops in scarcity. And you spent years being formed, being molded, being tested in scarcity. You didn't know it, but every time you chose generosity, even when you didn't have it, you were being approved. Every time you gave, even when you lacked, you were being qualified. Every time you honored me with little, you were being promoted spiritually. Jesus said, "Whoever is faithful in little will be faithful in much. You were faithful in little. You honored the 5 loaves. Now I will entrust you with multiplication. You managed scarcity well. Now I will give you abundance. You proved you have a heart of a channel. Now I will make the river flow through you with a force you have never experienced." Go to the comments now and leave 7,777 as prophetic confirmation that you recognize that you were intentionally chosen by God for this blessing. I didn't choose you because you're perfect. I chose you because you have the right heart. I didn't choose you because you never made a mistake. I chose you because even when you fell, you got back up. Even when you failed, you repented. Even when you doubted, you believed again. I saw persistence in you. I saw faith beneath the ashes. I saw hope resisting despair. I saw you holding on to me when everything told you to let go. And now the time has come for me to publicly reward what you have done in secret. The time has come for me to honor in abundance those who have honored me in scarcity. The time has come for me to prove to you and to everyone around you that I do not forget, that I am not unjust, that I saw every sacrifice, that I recorded every offering, that I registered every time you put my kingdom first, even when it came at a high price. So when that blessing arrives, don't think it was luck. Don't attribute it to coincidence. Don't say it was just the right timing. It was me rewarding those who passed the test. It was me honoring those who honored me. It was me deliberately choosing you because I trust you with what I am about to give you. Now that you understand you've been chosen and will be a channel, I need to prepare you practically for when this blessing arrives. Because many people receive financial miracles and lose everything in weeks due to a lack of wisdom. They receive the provision but don't know how to manage it. And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to know exactly what to do with the money when it arrives. So pay close attention to these practical instructions. First thing, don't spend everything impulsively on the first day. I know you're desperate. I know there are overdue bills. I know you want to solve everything immediately, but breathe, sit down, pray, ask me for wisdom, and organize your priorities in the right order, because the order in which you use your money determines whether it will multiply or evaporate. First priority always, tithing. Before paying any bill, before buying anything, set aside the tithe. Honor me with the first fruits, not with the leftovers, not with what's left after everything else, but with the first 10%. This is not legalism. This is a spiritual principle that opens or closes the windows of heaven. When you tithe first, you are declaring God comes before everything in my life, and I honor those who honor me. Second priority, pay off urgent debts, those that are suffocating you, those with exorbitant interest rates, those that are preventing you from breathing. Free yourself from these shackles, because debt is spiritual and financial slavery. But don't try to pay everything off at once if you can't. Be strategic, negotiate, use wisdom. Third priority, sow strategically. Set aside a portion to help someone who is where you were. Donate to a ministry. Bless a family in need. Be a channel. Because when you sow a portion of what you have received, you are activating multiplication. You are ensuring the flow continues. You are planting for the next harvest. Fourth priority, take care of basic needs. Food, housing, transportation, health, the things you truly need. Not luxuries, necessities. Put your house in order, stock the pantry, fix what's broken, resolve what's pending. Fifth priority, if there is any money left over, invest wisely. Not in gambling, not in promises of quick enrichment, but in something solid, secure, that can bear fruit in the medium and long term. Seek advice, ask me for guidance. Do not make impulsive decisions. Now I'm going to warn you about the most common traps. First trap, ostentation that generates envy. Don't go posting everything you bought on social media. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your blessing doesn't need an audience. Second trap, spending to impress others. Buying things you don't need with money you barely have to impress people you don't even like. That's foolish. Third trap, lending to everyone who asks. When the money arrives, everyone will show up. Relatives who disappeared, friends who abandoned you, people who despised you. Everyone will come with sad stories asking for a loan. You can help some strategically, but you can't save everyone. Learn to say no. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel now, because those committed to wise stewardship attract greater and more frequent blessings. Fourth trap, telling everyone how much you received. Discretion is spiritual protection. Not everyone needs to know about your blessing. Not everyone will rejoice with you. Some will be envious. Some will practice witchcraft. Some will try to manipulate you. So be wise, be discreet. Testify to God's faithfulness without detailing amounts. If you manage this first blessing well, I will entrust you with greater blessings. Because I am testing you, I am seeing if you are truly a channel or if you will become a selfish receptacle. I am observing whether you will honor the principles I taught you or if you will fall into the traps that destroyed others. Wise stewardship ensures that abundance is not a one-time event, but a continuous lifestyle. So when the money comes, remember this word and act wisely. Now I need to teach you to recognize the signs I'm giving you, and there are two types of signs, internal and external. Internal signs happen within you. External signs happen around you. And usually the internal signs come first, preparing you for the external signs that will come later. So pay close attention to what has been happening within you in recent days and what will happen in the coming days. The first inner sign is a supernatural peace that suddenly washes over you. It's not circumstantial peace. The circumstances haven't changed. The bills are still overdue. The bank is still in the red. The problems are still there. But something inside you has changed. You feel a deep, inexplicable peace that doesn't make logical sense. It's as if someone has lifted a huge weight from your shoulders. You simply know that everything will be all right. You have no proof. You have no visible guarantees, but you have spiritual certainty. This peace doesn't come from trying to convince yourself. It doesn't come from repeating positive affirmations. It comes from above. It descends upon you like a warm blanket. And when it arrives, you know that you know. Even without being able to explain it to others, even without being able to prove it rationally, you have an unshakable inner conviction that provision is coming. This is my spirit, giving you advance assurance of what I have already released. The second inner sign is vivid dreams. Dreams where specific people appear. Dreams where someone gives you something. Dreams where you are receiving money, gifts, help. Dreams where someone specific is blessing you. Pay attention to these dreams. Write them down. Because I have spoken through dreams since biblical times. Joseph dreamed, and the dreams revealed his future. Daniel dreamed and saw prophetic revelations. Paul had night visions that guided his ministry. If you have been repeatedly dreaming about provision, about abundance, about someone helping you, don't dismiss it as simply your subconscious processing your desires. It could be me showing you in advance what is about to happen. It could be me preparing you psychologically and spiritually for what is to come. It could be me giving you clues about who that person will be. The third internal sign is strong impressions of specific people, a name that won't leave your head, a face you keep seeing mentally, an inexplicable feeling that you need to get in touch with a certain person. You don't know why, you have no logical reason, but the impression is strong, persistent, insistent. Leave a like now if you've already started to feel this supernatural peace or have had meaningful dreams, confirming that the inner signs are already active in your life. Don't dismiss these impressions as coincidence. Don't ignore them as imagination. It could be my Holy Spirit whispering in your spirit, preparing you, guiding you, showing you who the person I have chosen is. When this impression comes, obey. Call the person, send a message, arrange a meeting, because it may be precisely in that contact that I have orchestrated that the miracle will happen. Many people miss the blessing because they ignore the inner signs. They feel the peace, but don't trust it. They have the dream, but dismiss it as an illusion. They receive the impression, but don't act. And then they wait for an audible voice, a sign written in the sky, a spectacular manifestation. But I rarely speak like that. I usually speak in inner whispers, in peace that doesn't make sense, in dreams that reveal, in impressions that guide. So from now on, pay attention to what is happening inside you, to the peace that arrives without explanation, to the recurring dreams, to the impressions about specific people, because these internal signs are my way of preparing you for the external signs that are coming. I prepare you internally before manifesting externally. I give you spiritual certainty before giving you physical evidence. And when the internal and external signs align, you know without a shadow of a doubt, this is the moment, this is the person, this is the miracle that God promised. Now that you know how to recognize the internal signs, I need to teach you how to identify the external signs. Because after I prepare you internally with peace and impressions, I begin to move things externally around you. And these external signs are physical manifestations of what I have already released spiritually. They are concrete events, real encounters, literal doors opening. And you need to be attentive because they will begin to happen in the coming days. First external sign, seemingly casual encounters that aren't casual at all. That person you haven't seen in years appears out of nowhere. You're at the supermarket and you bump into them. You're on the street and they walk by. You open social media and see a message from them. Or someone totally unexpected gets in touch. Someone who never called calls. Someone who never texted sends a message. And you think, what a strange coincidence. But it's not a coincidence. It's me orchestrating the encounter. Second external sign, unexpected invitations. Someone invites you to an event you weren't planning on attending. Someone invites you to lunch. Someone asks you to go somewhere with them. And your first reaction might be, I don't have the money. I don't have the right clothes. I don't feel like it. But pay attention. It might be exactly in that place, at that event, at that meeting, that I have prepared the miracle. So don't refuse lightly. Pray before you say no, because it might be me opening the door that will connect you with the right person. Third external sign, doors that open supernaturally, opportunities that appear without you seeking them. Someone recommends you for something. Someone remembers you for a project. Someone mentions your name in a conversation, and suddenly you're being called for something you didn't even know existed. This isn't luck. This isn't human networking. This is me moving hearts, orchestrating conversations, opening paths that were closed. Fourth external sign, connections through third parties. Someone says you need to meet so-and-so, or someone introduces you to a person seemingly without any important reason, or someone mentions that they know someone who can help you. Pay attention to these human bridges, because sometimes I use one person to connect you with another. Sometimes the channel doesn't come directly, but through a chain of divine connections that I have strategically set up. Fifth external sign, impossible coincidences. You and a specific person are in the same place at the same time without having planned it. You take the same bus, you enter the same store, you arrive at the same place at times that are unusual for both of you. And when this happens once, you think it was chance. When it happens twice, you start to find it strange. When it happens 3 times, you need to recognize this is divine orchestration. Leave a like now as a sign that you are on high alert, ready to recognize and respond to the divine encounters I am orchestrating in the coming days. So, for the next 7 to 21 days, you need to be extra vigilant. Don't miss appointments. Don't cancel meetings. Don't ignore invitations. Don't discard messages. That seemingly random person could be the channel. That seemingly unimportant event could be the place of divine encounter. That seemingly casual conversation could be the exact moment I have prepared. There is no such thing as chance in my calendar. When I want to connect 2 people, I move heaven and earth. I adjust schedules. I create circumstances. I orchestrate situations that seem like coincidences, but are actually encounters arranged by me since before the foundation of the world. And now I am doing exactly that in your life. So wake up spiritually. Open your eyes. Pay attention to who appears, who calls, who texts, who invites you, where you go, who you meet, because in the coming days, I will put the right person in your path. And when that happens, the inner signs you've already felt will align perfectly with the outer signs you will see. And you will know without a doubt. This is the moment God promised. Now I need to give you a critical warning, because it's no use me teaching you to recognize signs if you ignore them when they appear. And the painful truth is that many people miss blessings I have prepared simply because of spiritual inattention. They ask, I respond, I send clear signs, but they are so blind, so distracted, so caught up in rationalization that they can't see what's right in front of them. Do you know what the greatest enemy of divine signs is? Excessive rationalization. You feel supernatural peace and say, I'm just trying to convince myself. You have a vivid dream and think, it's just my subconscious. You get an impression of a person and conclude, I'm imagining things. You have a chance encounter and dismiss it as just a coincidence. And so you nullify every sign I give you. You rationally explain everything supernatural until only dead naturalness remains. The enemy works precisely on this. He doesn't need to prevent you from receiving the signs. He only needs to convince you that the signs mean nothing. He plants doubt. He whispers that you are being irrational, that you are seeing things that don't exist, that you are forcing interpretations. And if you give in to that voice, you will ignore every sign I give you until the window closes and you miss the divine timing. Look to the scriptures. Peter had a strange vision of animals descending from heaven. He could have dismissed it as a bizarre dream, but he paid attention. And soon after, men knocked on the door calling him. He obeyed the signal. He went to Cornelius's house, and the gospel entered the Gentile world. If Peter had rationalized and ignored it, he would have missed a historic moment of the kingdom. Philip was in the midst of a powerful revival in Samaria. Multitudes were being saved. Suddenly, an angel told him to go to the desert. It didn't make sense to leave success for emptiness, but he obeyed the sign. He went, and he met the Ethiopian eunuch, a man who took the gospel to Africa. If Philip had ignored the sign because it seemed illogical, an entire nation might have waited generations longer to know the truth. Paul had a vision of a Macedonian man asking for help. He could have thought it was just a random dream, but he interpreted it as divine guidance. He changed the route of his missionary journey, and the gospel entered Europe. The history of Christianity changed because one man did not ignore a nighttime sign. But there are also opposite examples. Naaman was a leper. The prophet told him to dip himself 7 times in the Jordan River. He thought it was too simple, too insignificant. He almost left without being cured because he disregarded the simplicity of the sign. Jonah received clear directions to go to Nineveh. He ignored them. He fled in the opposite direction. He ended up in the belly of a fish. He wasted time, went through unnecessary suffering, all because he ignored the initial sign. Share this video now so that others don't miss out on their blessings by ignoring the signs God is sending, because your obedience in spreading the message is also a sign that you will not ignore your own signs. Do you understand the pattern? God's signs are rarely spectacular. They are rarely too obvious. They are discreet, whispered, easily ignored. Because I want to see who has spiritual ears to hear, who has spiritual eyes to see, who has the sensitivity to recognize my voice amidst the noise of the world. And when the sign comes, you can't spend days analyzing, questioning, asking for more confirmation. You need to act. Delayed obedience is disobedience. If I put it in your heart to call someone, call that day. If I give you the impression of going somewhere, go that week. If I open a door for a meeting, don't cancel it. Because signs have a window of time. They don't stay open indefinitely, waiting for you to decide whether or not to obey. So make a commitment to me now. Say aloud, Lord, I commit to not ignoring any sign you give me in the coming days. I will not rationalize. I will not explain everything as coincidence. I will have spiritual sensitivity. I will act when you speak. I will not miss my blessing through carelessness. Because I have already prepared everything. The person has already been chosen. The signs have already been programmed. Now it depends on you to pay attention and obey when they come. Now you know how to recognize the signs. You understand how I will act. But it's not enough to just passively wait for the signs to appear. You need to become an active participant in the miracle. And one of the most powerful weapons I have placed in your hands is your own mouth. Because true faith is not just believing in your heart. True faith is declaring with your mouth, and your words have creative power in the spiritual realm that you can't even imagine. It is written in Proverbs, death and life are in the power of the tongue. This is not a metaphor. This is not poetic exaggeration. This is literal spiritual truth. Your words create atmospheres. Your statements open or close doors in the invisible world. You prophesy your own future every time you open your mouth. So the question is, what have you been prophesying about your life? Scarcity or abundance? Lack or provision? Defeat or victory? Most people prophesy against themselves without realizing it. They say things will never change. I will always be poor. Nothing ever works out for me. I am cursed. I was born to suffer. And every time they say this, they are spiritually sealing that reality over their lives. They are agreeing to defeat. They are building walls around the blessings I want to release. But now, you will do things differently. From today onward, you will use your mouth as a prophetic tool. You will declare over your life what I have already decreed in heaven. You will speak into existence of things that have not yet manifested. You will call into existence that which does not exist as if it already existed, because that is how I work, and that is how you will cooperate with me. So every day, in the morning when you wake up and at night before you go to sleep, you will make these declarations aloud, not just think them, not just read them mentally, but speak audibly with authority. My provision has already been released in heaven and is descending to earth now. The right person who will bless me has already been sent by God and is on their way. The divine encounter is already marked on God's calendar and will happen at the perfect time. Supernatural doors open for me now. Undeserved favor reaches me. I receive financial abundance. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. Continue declaring, every debt that binds me will be paid off. Every financial blockage is broken now. Every curse of poverty is cancelled over my life. I enter a new cycle of prosperity. I am a channel of blessing. I am a faithful steward of God's abundance. Riches and honor come from God, and I receive them now. My home will be financially established. My family will live in abundance. My future is prosperous because God takes care of me. Subscribe to the channel now to receive more prophetic teachings that will sustain your faith and your declarations until the day of complete manifestation. Do you see the difference? It's not, I hope it happens. It's not, I hope God will do it. It's not, God willing. Maybe. It's already done. It's, I decree. It's, I prophesy. It's happening now. You're not asking for permission. You're exercising delegated authority. You're not pleading. You're declaring what has already been established. And when you do this consistently, something changes in the spiritual realm. The words that come out of your mouth rise like incense before my throne. They activate angels. They move circumstances. They open spiritual portals. They create an atmosphere conducive to miracles manifesting. Your declarations are like seeds planted in spiritual soil, and every seed produces fruit according to its kind. So if you plant words of scarcity, you reap scarcity. If you plant words of defeat, you reap defeat. But if you plant words of abundance, of victory, of divine provision, you reap exactly that. It's not magic. It's not superficial positive thinking. It's a spiritual law established by me since creation. I spoke and the world existed. I made you in my image. So your words also have creative power. Do this religiously every day until the blessing manifests, even when nothing has changed externally yet, even when the bills keep arriving, even when the bank remains overdrawn. You declare, you prophesy, you speak of life, you speak of provision, you speak of abundance, and your words will prepare the way for the physical manifestation of that which has already been established spiritually. Now I need to teach you a spiritual principle that most people ignore, and that's why they live expecting a harvest without ever planting anything. It's the principle of sowing and reaping. And this isn't just a law of agriculture. It's a spiritual law that governs everything in my kingdom. It's written in Galatians, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. There's no escaping this law. You cannot reap where you haven't sown. You cannot expect fruit from seeds that were never planted in the ground. And here is the mistake many people make. They want to receive but don't want to give. They want to reap but don't want to sow. They extend their hands, asking for blessings, but keep their fists clenched when it's time to bless others. And then they become frustrated because the harvest doesn't come. But how can there be a harvest if there has been no sowing? Now pay attention, because this is important. Sowing isn't just about money. Sowing is everything you give. You sow time when you pray for someone. You sow words when you encourage a discouraged person. You sow presence when you visit someone who is sick or abandoned. You sow this prophetic message when you share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Every time you give something of value, you are sowing. And every seed planted in the right soil at the right time with the right attitude produces fruit. And there's more. The harvest is always proportional to the sowing. He who sows little reaps little. He who sows abundantly will also reap abundantly. If you want a small harvest, sow little. But if you want an abundant harvest, you need to sow abundantly. It's no use planting 3 seeds and expecting a huge crop. It's no use giving crumbs and expecting a banquet. The mathematics of the kingdom is simple. The more you give, the more you receive. But here's the test of faith. You need to sow before you reap, not after, before. Abraham gave tithes to Melchizedek before he had the promised land. The widow of Zarephath gave the last handful of flour and the last drop of oil to the prophet before the multiplication happened. The disciples distributed the 5 loaves and 2 fish before seeing the miracle of multiplication. Do you see the pattern? Sowing comes first, harvesting comes later. And now I'm going to give you a practical instruction. Today, at this very moment, you are going to choose 3 people to bless. It doesn't have to be with money if you don't have any. It can be with a prophetic word. It can be with a fervent prayer. It can be by calling someone who is discouraged and speaking words of faith. It can be by sharing this message with someone who is financially desperate. It can be by sending an encouraging message to 3 specific people that I will place on your heart right now. Go to the comments now and write the names of these 3 people you will bless today, because this public act of commitment to sowing activates the spiritual law of abundant harvest in your life. When you sow into the lives of others, I will not be indebted to you. When you bless someone, I will bless you back multiplied. When you help another out of a hole, I will pull you out of yours. When you spread hope, I will make hope sprout in your own situation. This is the law. This is the promise. This is the guarantee. And don't think your seed is too small to make a difference. The smallest seed can produce the largest tree. That verse you send to someone could save a life. That prayer you say for a friend could open a door that's been locked for years. That encouraging audio message you send could prevent a suicide. You don't know the power of your sowing, but I do, and I multiply it. So don't wait to have a lot to start giving. Give the little you have now. Don't wait to be well off to bless others. Bless others, even when you're struggling, because miracles don't come to those who wait to have before giving. Miracles come to those who give even without having, trusting that I will provide. Generosity activates miracles. Sowing precedes harvesting. And now is the time for you to plant the seeds that will produce the financial harvest you are expecting. Choose 3 people, bless them today, and prepare your barn, because the harvest is coming. Now you have reached a crucial moment. You have heard my voice. You have received the revelation. You have learned the principles. You know the weapons. You know how to recognize the signs. You have learned to declare and to sow. But all of this only becomes powerfully effective when you seal the spiritual agreement with me. And now, I will explain to you what that means and how to do it. In the spiritual realm, agreements and covenants are not just pretty words. They are commitments that bind invisible realities. When I made a covenant with Abraham, it wasn't just a conversation. It was a pact sealed with circumcision. When Moses received the law, the covenant was sealed with blood sprinkled on the people. When Jesus established the new covenant, he sealed it with his own blood on the cross. Do you see the pattern? Covenants in my kingdom always have a sealing moment. An act that confirms, that formalizes, that makes that agreement irrevocable. And now, you need to seal your covenant of faith with me, not with blood, because Jesus already shed the necessary blood. Not with complex rituals, because the new covenant is based on faith, not ceremonies. but with a clear, conscious, deliberate, verbal commitment spoken aloud before me and before the spiritual world that is watching. So now, at this moment, you are going to make a prophetic sealing declaration. You are going to say aloud, Lord, I believe that the financial provision you promised has already been released and is on its way. I accept by faith that a specific person has already been chosen by you to be the channel of this blessing. I commit to recognizing the signs you send me. I commit to acting when you direct me. I commit to not ignoring divine encounters or supernatural messages. Continue. I commit to being a channel, not a receptacle, when this blessing arrives. I commit to wisely managing what you entrust to me. I commit to tithing, to sowing, to helping others who are where I am today. I commit to publicly testifying to your faithfulness when the miracle manifests. I commit to glorifying your name with my financially restored life. This is my agreement with you. I seal it now in the name of Jesus. Leave your like right now as a prophetic act to seal this spiritual agreement, because when you publicly confirm your commitment, you activate angelic authority to execute everything that has been decreed. When you make this declaration with sincerity, with genuine faith, something happens in the unseen world. The agreement is recorded, angels are assigned, doors are opened, blockages are removed, because the spiritual realm responds to firm commitments. God can make a covenant with anyone willing to commit. I can release blessings upon anyone willing to take on responsibilities. Many people want the blessings but not the commitment. They want to receive but don't want to commit to being channels. They want the miracle but don't want to witness afterward. They want the provision but don't want to tithe. And so many blessings remain suspended in the air, waiting for someone willing to make the full covenant. But you won't be like that. You will seal the deal. You will make the commitment. You will say yes to the blessings and yes to the responsibilities that come with them. You will enter into this covenant of provision, knowing that it is not an isolated event, but the beginning of a lifestyle of faithful stewardship of divine abundance. And when you seal this agreement, you are not just making promises to me. You are activating spiritual principles. You are opening floodgates. You are authorizing divine intervention in your financial life. You are giving legal permission in the spiritual world for me to do what I already wanted to do, but was waiting for your conscious consent. So now it is sealed. The deal is done. The commitment is established. You have declared it. You have committed yourself. And I confirm from my side, I will bless you. I will send the person. I will arrange the meeting. I will break the scarcity. I will establish abundance. I will make you a channel of blessing, because now there is Mao, a sealed agreement between me and you, and I never break my agreements. Now I will answer the question that has been hammering in your heart since the beginning of this message. When exactly will this happen? When will this person appear? When will the money arrive? When will the miracle manifest? And I will give you a prophetic answer that will give you concrete hope without removing the need for faith. First, I'm not going to give you an exact date. I'm not going to say the 15th of such and such month at 2:37 p.m. Why? Because if I gave you the exact date, you wouldn't need faith anymore. You would have certainty based on information, not on trust. And I am training your faith, not feeding your anxiety for control. But I will give you a prophetic window, and that window is in the next 7 to 40 days. Why these numbers? Because they are not random. They are prophetic numbers that I use throughout Scripture. 7 is the number of perfection, of the complete cycle. I created the world in 7 days. On the 7th day, I will rest. When Joshua marched around Jericho 7 times on the 7th day, the walls fell. 7 represents completeness. And it may be that in 7 literal days, I will complete the entire process that is underway. 21 is another prophetic number. Daniel prayed and fasted for 21 days, while a spiritual battle raged in the heavenly realms. On the 21st day, the angel arrived with the answer. It may be that spiritual resistances are being broken down now, and in 21 days, everything will be aligned for the encounter to take place. 40 is the number of preparation and transformation. Moses spent 40 days on the mountain receiving the law. Jesus fasted for 40 days before beginning his ministry. The Israelites wandered for 40 years, being prepared. 40 always precedes something new, something great. And it may be that I am using up to 40 days to prepare you completely, to position you correctly, to orchestrate every detail perfectly. But understand this, I am not late and I am not early. I always arrive at the exact time, not at the time you find convenient, not at the time your anxiety demands, but at the strategic time where everything is perfectly aligned. Because if I send the blessing a day before the right time, you will not be ready to receive it. If I send it a day later, you may have given up. So I calculate with millimeter precision the exact moment where your preparation, the person's availability, and spiritual openness meet. The when depends on several factors that are aligning right now. Your spiritual preparation needs to be complete, and it's almost there. The chosen person needs to be positioned in the right place, and I am moving them now. Spiritual obstructions need to be removed, and angels are working on that as you listen to this word. The perfect timing of the divine encounter needs to be calculated, and I already know exactly when and where it will be. Go to the comments now and leave 7,777 as a prophetic decree that you align yourself with God's perfect timing and declare that your blessing will manifest within the divine window. So it's not a question of if it will happen, it's a question of when, and the when is within that window, 7 to 40 days from now. It could be next week, it could be in 2 weeks, it could be in a month, but it's not far off. It's not 6 months from now. It's not next year. It's imminent. It's close. It's coming. You are within the window of opportunity for a miracle at this very moment. And do you know what that practically means? It means that in the coming days, you will live in active anticipation. Every morning you wake up thinking, it could be today. Every phone call that rings could be times the Times phone call. Every message that arrives could be times the Times message. Every person you meet could be times the Times person. You live with your eyes open, your heart expectant, your spirit alert. This isn't unhealthy anxiety. This is expectation born of faith. Like a woman 9 months pregnant who knows that the baby could be born at any moment. She doesn't know if it will be today, tomorrow, or next week. But she knows it's imminent, and she prepares. She packs her hospital bag. She gets everything ready. She lives expectantly. That's how you should live now. Expectant, prepared, attentive. Because within this prophetic window of 7 to 40 days, the miracle will happen. Now I need to give you the most important warning in this entire message, because it's pointless for you to have come this far, to have heard everything, to have believed, to have declared, to have sealed the deal, if you give up right now. And the painful truth is that many people give up when they are one step, one day, 1 week away from the miracle they were waiting for. They resist for months, for years, and give up at the last turn before the finish line. Why does this happen? Because the enemy knows the timing too. He's not omniscient like me, but he observes the signs. and when he realizes you're close to a breakthrough, he intensifies the attacks. He knows that if he manages to make you give up now, the whole process will have been in vain. So he throws everything he has against you in the final moments, and many people can't withstand that final offensive. Let me show you the pattern. Peter was walking on water. He was doing well, but it was just when he was halfway there that he began to sink. Elijah had just had a spectacular victory on Mount Carmel. God answered with fire. The prophets of Baal were defeated, but soon after, Elijah fled in fear and asked to die. The Israelites wandered 40 years in the desert. When they finally got close to the promised land, they wanted to return to Egypt. Do you see the pattern? The temptation to give up is stronger when you are closest. And there's a spiritual law you need to understand. Darkness is always most intense before dawn. Pain is prevail, always strongest before childbirth. The temptation to give up is always most powerful when victory is closest. So if in recent days you felt the situation has worsened instead of improved, that's not a sign that it won't happen. It's a sign that it's about to happen. If the attacks have intensified, if the fear has grown stronger, if the doubt has increased, if discouragement has hit harder, if you've thought, I can't take it anymore, I'm going to give up, it's not going to work anyway. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're close, very close. And the enemy is desperately trying to make you let go of the rope before the blessing descends. Because you know what happens when you're pulling something heavy on a rope. The harder you pull, the more weight you feel. And the moment of greatest weight is just before the thing rises completely. If you let go of the rope at that last instant, everything you pulled falls back to the ground. All the effort was in vain. But if you hold on for another 5 seconds, another minute, another day, the rope finishes rising and you achieve what you were pulling. Share this video now to encourage others who are tempted to give up. Because when you strengthen others, you yourself receive supernatural strength to persevere to the end. So listen to what I'm telling you. Don't give up now. Hold on for a few more days. Endure for another week. Hold on a little longer. Because the devil wouldn't be attacking so much if the blessing wasn't coming. He knows what I've released. He sees the angels working. He perceives the person being moved. He feels the miracle approaching. And he's making one last desperate effort to bring you down before the manifestation. But you won't fall. You've come too far to give up now. You waited too long to let go of the rope when you were just meters away. You believed too much to doubt in the end. So when discouragement comes, you will remember this word. When the urge to give up is strong, you will declare, I will resist one more day. When everything seems lost, you will hold on tight, because you know that the harder it gets, the closer you are. A woman in labor doesn't give up when the pain intensifies. She knows that increasing pain means the baby is coming. The runner doesn't stop when fatigue sets in during the final meters. He speeds up because he knows the finish line is there, and you won't give up when the pressure increases, because you now understand that increased pressure means an imminent miracle. Resist, endure, hold on tight, because the blessing is coming. Now that you know when it will happen and have been warned not to give up, I need to teach you how to practically live during this prophetic window of 7 to 40 days. Because there is a huge difference between living in healthy expectation and living in paralyzing anxiety. And I want you to live in vigilant expectation, not in obsessive despair. True expectation isn't about constantly checking the clock. It's not about compulsively checking your phone every second. It's not about paralyzing your life waiting for something to happen. Biblical expectation is active vigilance with inner peace. It's being alert without being anxious. It's keeping your eyes open without losing sleep. It's living the present wisely while you await the future with hope. So how does this translate to practically? Every day when you wake up, before picking up your phone, before doing anything, you will say, Lord, it can be today. I am ready. I am alert. I am available. And then you will live that day normally, but with your spiritual eyes open. You answer all calls, even those from unknown numbers. You respond to all messages, even those that seem unimportant. You don't cancel appointments lightly. You say yes to invitations that you would normally refuse. Why? Because that call you didn't answer could be the call. That message you ignored could be the message. That meeting you canceled could be the divine encounter. That invitation you refused could be the door I opened. You don't know when or how the miracle will arrive, so you remain open, available, attentive. But that doesn't mean you stand there paralyzed waiting. You keep working, you keep studying, you keep fulfilling your responsibilities. You don't sit on the sidewalk waiting for money to fall from the sky. You live your life, but you live it with heightened spiritual awareness, like a soldier on guard duty. He continues his activities, but he's always looking at the horizon, always alert, always ready to act when something comes up. Every day is a new possibility. When you wake up, it's a new day of potential miracles. If the miracle doesn't happen that day, you don't despair. You simply sleep peacefully and wake up the next day with the same expectation. It could be today, tomorrow could be the day, this week could be the week, and so you live day after day with renewed hope, with firm faith, with constant but not anxious expectation. Jesus taught this in the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 were foolish, 5 were wise. All were waiting for the bridegroom to arrive, but 5 fell asleep and let their lamps go out. They had no extra oil. They weren't really prepared. When the bridegroom arrived in the middle of the night, they missed the moment because they weren't vigilant. But the 5 wise virgins kept their lamps lit. They had extra oil. They were awake. They were ready. And when the bridegroom arrived, they went in with him to the wedding feast. You need to be the wise virgin, a lamp full of oil, the oil of God's presence, the flame of faith burning, eyes open, an expectant heart, constant spiritual readiness, not sleeping spiritually, not letting your faith grow cold, not relaxing in your vigilance, because you do not know on what day, at what hour, at what exact moment the bridegroom will knock on the door. But don't become neurotic either. Don't become obsessed to the point of not being able to sleep, work, or live. There's a fine line between being vigilant and despairing. Being vigilant means being alert and ready. Despairing means being anxious and paralyzed. I want you to be vigilant, not to despair. I want you to be ready, not to be desperate. So live these next few days in wise balance, confident faith that it will happen, alert readiness for when it does happen, inner peace while waiting for it to happen. That is the right attitude. That is the expectation that pleases me. And when you live like this, in peaceful vigilance, in confident expectation, in serene readiness, you are perfectly positioned to recognize and respond when I finally send the signal, open the door, and send the blessing. Now the culminating moment has arrived. Everything that has been said, everything that has been revealed, everything that has been taught, I will now seal with an irrevocable prophetic decree. And when I decree something, there is no power in heaven, on earth, or under the earth that can annul it. My word does not return empty. When I speak, it is done. When I decree, it is established. When I declare, angels move to execute. So listen to my voice now with all your attention. I decree over your life, the financial provision you need is released from my throne now, not tomorrow, not later, now. I decree that the specific person who will be the channel of this blessing has already been chosen, has already been prepared, has already been sent. They are on their way. The divine encounter between you is already marked on my calendar. It will happen within the prophetic window that I have established. I decree that every spiritual blockage that prevented this blessing from arriving is broken now. Every wall is falling. Every impediment is being removed. Every stronghold of the enemy is being destroyed. I decree abundance upon you. I decree plenty. I decree that you will no longer live in lack. I decree that scarcity ends now. I decree prosperity upon your home, upon your family, upon your future. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel now as your prophetic amen to this decree, sealing in heaven and on earth everything that has been declared about your life. I decree that you will be a channel of blessing to many, that your miracle story will encourage others, that your testimony will strengthen those who are giving up. I decree that you will wisely manage what I entrust to you, and I decree that this is only the beginning, because when you prove yourself faithful in little things, I will give you much more. This decree is sealed, it is done, it is fulfilled in the spiritual realm. Now it only remains for it to manifest in the physical realm, and it will manifest at the time I have established, in the way I have planned, through the person I have chosen. Say Amen aloud now. Agree with my decree, accept it by faith, and prepare to see the manifestation. Now I need to tell you something that will change everything. You are no longer who you were before hearing this word. Something has changed in the spiritual realm. Your identity has been transformed, and from now on, you can no longer see yourself as you saw yourself before. You can no longer present yourself as you presented yourself. You can no longer speak of yourself as you spoke of yourself. Because I don't just change circumstances, I change identities. I don't just give money, I transform the poor into the prosperous. I don't just solve financial problems, I transform scarcity into abundance. And this transformation begins from within, in how you see yourself before it manifests outwardly in your circumstances. Do you understand? External change is merely the manifestation of the internal change that has already taken place. Look what I have done throughout history. I called Abram Abraham, which means father of multitudes, when he was 99 years old and had no children. I didn't wait for him to have children to then change his name. I changed his name first. I changed his identity first, and the new identity attracted the new reality. I called Gideon a mighty warrior when he was hiding in a winepress, afraid of the Midianites. He didn't see himself that way, but I saw him that way. And when he accepted that new identity, he became the liberator of Israel. I called Simon Peter, which means rock, when he was impulsive, unstable, weak as quicksand. But I didn't look at what he was at that moment. I looked at what he was going to become. And when he began to see himself as a rock, when he accepted that new identity, he became the foundation upon which I built my church. Do you see the pattern? I call you by what you will be, not by what you are now. And when you accept that new identity by faith, the transformation begins immediately. So from this moment on, you are no longer the broken one. You are the Lord's blessed one. You are no longer the needy one. You are the prosperous one. You are no longer the indebted one. You are the free one. You are no longer the one who lives on charity. You are the generous one who helps others. You are no longer the ultimate repository of blessing. You are a channel through which my abundance flows to many. Your identity has changed, and now your language needs to change too. Go to the comments now and complete this sentence. I am no longer, now I am. Publicly declaring your new identity and sealing the transformation that God has already worked. Stop saying I am poor. Start saying I am prosperous. Stop saying I never have money. Start saying God's abundance reaches me. Stop saying I was born to suffer. Start saying I was born to be blessed and to bless. Stop saying I am a failure. Start saying I am successful because God is with me. Because when you change the way you talk about yourself, you are agreeing with the new identity I have given you. And what you declare with authority, I establish with power. This is not self-deception. This is not empty wishful thinking. This is agreeing with what I have already decreed about you. When I look at you, I don't see the broken person you were. I see the prosperous person you are becoming. I don't see the current needy person. I see the future abundant channel. And when you begin to see yourself as I see you, when you begin to speak about yourself as I speak about you, you align your earthly identity with your celestial identity. And then manifestation is inevitable. So accept this new identity now. Wear it like a new outfit. Carry it with authority. Speak of it with conviction, because you are no longer who you were. You are who I say you are. And what I say, I confirm with signs. Now you have reached the end of this revelation, but not the end of the journey. Because what you heard here was not just another motivational message. It was not just another encouraging video. It was my voice speaking directly to you. It was a specific prophetic word for this moment in your life. And every word I spoke will be fulfilled exactly as it was said. Look back and see the journey you've made so far. You began by hearing an urgent revelation about a financial provision that I have already released. You discovered that there is a specific person I have chosen to be the channel for this blessing. You learned that this person is not someone obvious, not from within the church, not from your family. It is someone I have strategically positioned in your life, or someone I am bringing into your life now. You have learned to recognize the signs, internal signs, supernatural peace, vivid dreams, strong impressions, external signs, chance encounters, doors opening, messages arriving. You have been warned not to ignore these signs when they come, because many miss blessings due to spiritual inattention, over-rationalizing, explaining everything as coincidence. You learned about spiritual warfare, that there are invisible battles happening right now, that the enemy tries to block them, but that you have powerful spiritual weapons. You learned the power of daily prophetic declarations, that your mouth has authority, that your words create atmospheres, that you prophesy your own future every time you speak. You have learned the principle of sowing and reaping, that you need to sow in order to reap. That generosity activates miracles, that when you bless others, I bless you multiplied. You have sealed a spiritual agreement with me. You have committed to being a channel, not a receptacle. You have committed to managing wisely. You have committed to witnessing the miracle when it comes. You received the prophetic timing, 7 to 40 days, a specific window where everything will align. You were warned not to give up before the miracle, because the darkness is most intense before the dawn. Because the attacks increase when victory is near. You learn to live in healthy expectation, vigilant but not anxious, ready but not desperate, attentive but not paralyzed. You have heard my irrevocable prophetic decree. I have spoken over your life, provision released, person sent, meeting arranged, blockages broken, abundance decreed. And when I decree, it is done. There is no power that can annul it. You have received a new identity. You are no longer broken, you are blessed. You are no longer needy, you are prosperous. You are no longer a deposit, you are a channel. And this new identity will attract the new reality. Activate channel notifications now so you don't miss any signs or prophetic messages that I will send in the coming days through this channel, because each word will be a piece of the puzzle of your miracle. So now you have everything. You have the revelation, you have the tools, you have the timing, you have the certainty. And this certainty is not based on feelings. It is not based on circumstances. It is based on who I am. I am the God who does not lie. I am the God who does not fail. I am the God who does not disappoint. If I said it, I will fulfill it. If I promised it, I will accomplish it. If I decreed it, I will execute it. And here is the absolute certainty you can carry in your heart. Every word I said in this message will be fulfilled in your life. The person exists. The money is coming, the meeting will happen, the signs will appear, the miracle will manifest. Not because you deserve it, not because you are perfect, but because I am faithful, because I chose you, because I decided to bless you. And what I decide, no one can stop. In the coming days, you will begin to see things moving. You will begin to notice synchronicities. You will begin to feel that inexplicable peace. You will begin to have impressions about people. You will begin to receive unexpected invitations, and you will remember this word. You will remember that I warned you. You will remember that I prepared you, and you will be ready to recognize and respond when the moment arrives. Because everything I have and revealed here was not to entertain you, it was to prepare you. And now you are prepared. Now you are equipped. Now you are positioned. And what comes next is merely the physical manifestation of what has already been established spiritually. So rest, trust, watch, and prepare yourself, because I am about to do something in your life that will surprise you, and it all begins now.